Welcome to War Thunder with Subdude. How y'all doing today? Well, it's about time for Gaijin to pull its collective head out of the sewer. They have a tremendous number of maps that we're not using. But it seems that at top tier, at top tier I consider anything from about 8.7 on up, to get only a few select maps. And usually they're horrible. We end up with maps like El Alamein, which there's no value in unless you're just doing pure fighter. Malta, which there is no value in unless you're doing pure fighter. Hokkaido, again, must be doing pure fighter. Coruscant, which is again go for pure fighter. They're just a very select few maps that are actually worth flying if you're doing anything other than a fighter. And Gaijin will not pull its head out of the sewer. I'm trying to keep this as clean as possible because I'm really ticked off at the moment. Because I have no idea. I do not understand their logic, their thoughts, their anything. Because at this moment, they are really just jamming it up and making it extremely difficult for somebody who wants to play A7, A4s, the AV8C. Unless you're going to play the AV8C in a pure fighter role, it's an attacker. It's a Marine Corps attacker. It's a frontline support aircraft. I just don't understand why Gaijin can't get that sort of stuff wrapped around their little brains. They're not thinking. Great Britain, Buccaneer, lovely plane, would love to fly it. Jaguar, again, a lovely plane, would love to fly it. If the maps are fixed, or if we get better maps, or bring the rest of them into rotation. I don't mind flying Norway. I'd prefer to do it with a naval aircraft, but I can fly it with the Jaguar. I'm sure people could fly it with the Phantom and the MiG-21. We need to get more maps in rotation. Larger maps, preferably. And if Gaijin needs to do its work and actually rejigger some of these maps, just to make them a little bit more playable, then they need to do their work. They need to get off their dead butts and do something other than sit there. Oh, we got a new sound for this. And, ooh, look at that gun flash. Ooh, I don't care about that. Yes, it's nice. It's very nice. The explosion, the fire, perfect. It's great. But we need better playing conditions. Not better visuals so much as better playing conditions. Faster jets need bigger maps, more room. Not only room to turn around, but room to actually get up to fighting altitude. You don't fight on the deck with supersonic aircraft. You fight at altitude on bigger maps. You just put in Dagor 6. Did you change anything in Dagor 6 that would allow for much larger maps? You know, you could tell us this sort of thing and develop these maps. Or whoever you've got developing the maps. Let them give you bigger maps. 250 kilometers by 250 kilometers would be a very decent map. Especially if we're dealing in supersonic aircraft. And use the bloody map. The whole map. Not just a little bit here and a little bit there. You've got... I can't... My mind isn't ready for the math at the moment. But 250 by 250, that's a lot of acreage. Mileage, cubic, whatever you want to call it. That's a lot of room. You don't need to put all the targets into one little spot right between two air bases that are within spitting distance of each other. I don't want to be starting a match and seeing the enemy within 3 minutes of starting the match. I want to get up to altitude that I need to be up to before engagement. I don't care if it takes 30 minutes or an hour to complete a mission. That should be up to us. Not up to, well, we got to get more in. That's stupid. Make the matches bigger. Put more people into the matches. Decompress your freaking battle rating. Yeah, decompress it a little bit. There is no way that certain planes should be fighting against other planes. I don't have a lineup that's like that. But there's no reason for any of the attackers on my screen here, the A7D, the A4E, it's not an E early, it's an E. Period. End of conversation. It's lacking the electronics hub on the back. But guess what? That doesn't make it not an E. It's an E. And as an E, this plane carried much better missiles. It carried AIM-9Ls. Yeah, L. You know, those ones that are all aspect? The ones that can hit a Harrier in the face? AIM-9, A7, A4B. Brr. I'm worked up at the moment. The A4B is a great little plane. But there is no way that this thing should be going up against planes that are 1950s planes. Sabres, MiG-15s. MiG-17, yes. MiG-15s, no. Sabres, no. It's a contemporary of more advanced aircraft, even if it was designed back in the 50s. It was in service until the 1980s. Not the B model, but the E model was. The Aviate-C. It's an attacker. Why doesn't it get an attacker start? Well, it's a fighter. It's not a fighter. It can hum the tune, but it ain't a fighter. And the only reason the GR1's a fighter is because it's got those goddamn missiles that are fucking worthless. Pardon my language. They shouldn't be in the game. They were only put on one aircraft. One. Namely, one specific Hunter F6. One aircraft. But we've got them coming out our butts in the game. And we never had them attached to the Harrier GR1 unless you can prove it to me. Show me the documentation. You haven't done that, Gaijin, which means you're lying. You wanted a money grab, and this was how you were going to do it. Oh, but we're not selling a top-tier aircraft. Yes, it is a top-tier aircraft. Even if it is only about 700 and some odd miles an hour, it is a top-tier aircraft with that weapon system on board. Period. So, Gaijin, fix the maps, get more of them into rotation for the game. You're killing the game for attacker players. I know you don't give a darn about us. I know you really just don't give a darn about anyone other than fighters and making money by selling OP shit. Harrier GR1 is pay to win. You didn't get my money for that one. Never going to get my money for that one. That's like the LA5FN from back in the day. 2013. You remember those years? Quite a while ago, when that thing was the bane of everyone in the game. Except the people who could afford the 5,000 Golden Eagles or whatever it is to buy the thing. The thing was absolutely insane. It would never stall. You could do anything with it. You could make any maneuver. And it was hard to kill because the fire always went out. You could hit it with incendiary rounds and it would light up and then go out. Every time. Yeah, I remember those days. Back in the days when you said, there'll never be radar in the game. And back when you said, we'll never have this, we'll never have that. And God bless if it didn't come. And yeah, those were your words. We'll never have radar. Uh-huh. Right. What was that? Price of that thing. Oh. There it is. LA5FN. 5,250 Golden Eagles. 5,250 Golden Eagles. Back in the day, I was a little bit less well funded, and that was insane. Considering when you look at Golden Eagles, 5,000 was $25, and at the time I was tight. And I just was not going to pay $25 for an airplane. But you've done it again, Gaijin. You're just continuing to do it. You're screwing up. You're selling pay to win aircraft. you've got pay to win tanks. Yep, you got them. There's no question there. Um, Ships, I don't know. There might be a pay to win ship. I don't care. I don't play ships. I collect some, but that's about it. But the maps are horrible. And you get the same ones over and over and over and over and over and over until you Alt F4 the game, come back a half hour later and start it up, and then you get, maybe a good map, maybe not. But then you go on to the next plane because the map wasn't worth flying on, and it's the same map. So you get out of that match and you go to the next plane and you get the same map. You get out of that match, you go to the next plane and you get the same map. I did that 5 times today. Kept getting the same map over and over and over and over. And it seems to be El Alamein, Malta, Hokkaido, Khorasan, and there's no reason to be flying in an attacker on any of these maps. Because it's not a very big map to begin with, and you've got all the targets directly between the 2 airfields, meaning by the time you get to the targets, you're engaged by the enemy fighters. And it doesn't matter what sort of attacker you use. You could use a Russian, you could use a German, you could use a British, you could use a Japanese, Italian, French, doesn't matter. You're in between the 2 air bases directly. You're engaged by the enemy fighters almost immediately. That doesn't make it very fun for the attackers. Fix the game, Gaijin. We can do without so many toys if you will fix the maps to make the toys we have more enjoyable. Bring maps into rotation that we can actually have a little fun on. If the Advance to the Rhine map was bigger, the one with Cologne in the middle of it, if it was bigger and the air bases were offset a bit, it would be absolutely spectacular for an attacker. Now, I managed to do pretty good on that map with the lower tiers, but with the higher tiers, it's too small. And then you give us something like Smolensk. I still don't know what to do with that map. Especially seeing as how every time I've gotten it, I've been at deck level, and I mean deck level, and crashed into trees twice. Because I didn't know what the hell was going on. All of a sudden, I've got trees in my face. Gaijin, spend time on maps and missions. Rejigger some maps. Change them up a bit. And not by just, we can put in a longer runway. Who cares? Just give us better braking on those. Or a parachute to stop the plane. That would be helpful in some cases. And we've got those on some planes. Some planes we don't, though. And that's our problem. But putting in a longer runway doesn't mean you've made the map better. Move the targets around. Make us go after specific targets, not these camps that you've got. Bomb this and you get blah, and bomb this and then you can bomb the airfield. Who cares? That's stupid. Give us some strategic target that's worthwhile. Bomb an oil refinery. Bomb a munitions factory. Bomb an aircraft plant. Bomb a bridge. A bridge. Wow, you've got them all over your maps. That would be something to go after. Ruhr has got some good layout. It's too small though, especially when you get into faster and faster jets. F-100, Su-7s, they're ridiculously overpowered for that map. Su-7 especially. I've seen MiG-21s on that, the F-13s I think. But still, that's ridiculous. Maps that are okay for subsonic aircraft are not good for supersonic aircraft. But maps that are good for supersonic aircraft are good for subsonic aircraft. Can you understand that? You've got so many maps that you have just got to release to us. Yeah, I'd like to be going cross-channel on the Boulogne-sur-Mer. If you would rejigger the map. Rework it a bit. And don't give us maps like Great Britain. That's a tier 1, tier 2 map. It's not a tier 4, 3, 4, or 5, or 6. It's just not. It never will be. It's too small. But you can't get that through your heads. It's like you've got this stellinium skull cap on. Start opening your eyes and play your bloody game. Come out and play with us. Let us bitch at you in person. You might not understand English, but you get the hint. That's all I've got. This subdude signing out. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow, and we'll catch you in the sky and air realistic on the good maps, of which there are damn few.